Have you ever wondered whether the turmoil in the Middle East is more than just borders, politics, and protest? Many see the conflict between Israel and Palestine as a direct outgrowth of ancient biblical promises, while others view it as a long-standing clash of national identities. Yet beneath the headlines, there's a dimension that transcends geography or ethnicity, a spiritual layer woven into the very heart of this enduring strife. Today, we'll embark on a journey that merges biblical history and modern reality, revealing why this dispute endures and what deeper lessons we might glean from it. The very name Holy Land hints at something more than typical territorial claims. In the book of Genesis, Abraham receives a divine promise for his descendants, a promise tied both to blessings and to land. Isaac's lineage becomes the people of Israel, while Ishmael is traditionally connected to many Arab groups. This biblical backstory has shaped countless perspectives on who holds rightful claim. Yet it's not simply about inheriting a physical home. For those who read Scripture closely, Abraham's story represents a covenant, that of a chosen people living according to divine mandates. Imagine how each generation, both Isaac's and Ishmael's, carried forward the ancestral memory of divine favor. Such beliefs run deep, leading to passionate convictions over who truly inherits certain promises. But there's an aspect many overlook, one that runs deeper than biology or legal decrees. Because a conflict that starts with ancient patriarchs doesn't just vanish, it evolves, morphs, and at times escalates. So, is it merely human disagreement or something more profound? Some believers describe this enduring enmity as a cosmic battlefield, a stage where earthly events reflect spiritual opposition. The biblical narrative speaks of exiles, restorations, and blessings, but also warns about nations opposing God's people. When ancient kingdoms like Babylon or Persia rose against Israel, prophets pointed to more than politics. They saw deeper forces at play, influencing rulers and shaping conflicts. If we fast forward through centuries of scattered tribes returning to their homeland, we find a persistent pattern. Every significant milestone, from the rebuilding of Jerusalem's walls after exile to the existence of a modern state, seems to spark massive pushback. This phenomenon has led many to believe it's not simply Israel that faces hostility, but the divine script behind it that draws opposition. Still, one might ask, how does one city become so central, and why does it remain a flashpoint even in the 21st century? History can explain only so much. When you dig beneath modern politics, you discover an even more contested piece of geography: Jerusalem. Jerusalem is revered by Jews as the city of King David and the site of the first and second temples. For Christians, it's the setting of Jesus' final days, his crucifixion and resurrection. Muslims likewise treasure it as home to the Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Dome of the Rock. So it's no wonder that across countless generations, Jerusalem has been claimed, reclaimed, and fought over. Yet beyond being a place of sacred memories, Scripture portrays Jerusalem as a focus of prophetic events. Texts speak of it as the city where God chose to place his name, and some readings of end-time prophecy indicate global attention converging there. Are modern conflicts fulfilling those visions, or is it all coincidence? For many people of faith, coincidences are rare, and Jerusalem's singular role only accentuates its spiritual gravity. Yet we can't gloss over the tangible realities, from independence declarations to refugee crises, from UN resolutions to armed standoffs. The political realm has drastically shaped this region's destiny. In 1948, the establishment of the State of Israel became a milestone in Jewish history, seen by some as prophetic restoration. Meanwhile, Palestinians experienced displacement on a massive scale, referred to as the catastrophe. Neighboring countries, diplomatic treaties, and superpower influences soon added new layers to an already complex story. Ever since, each war, negotiation, or protest has seemed to reaffirm how deeply both sides feel they've been wronged and how determined each is to secure justice. Nations around the world have chosen sides driven by everything from ideological alignment to strategic interests. Countless summits have attempted to broker peace, yet lasting harmony remains elusive. Still, to reduce it all to politics ignores the deeper convictions fueling these struggles. Because behind every headline lies a profound sense of calling and promise, something that points beyond the clash of armies or the stroke of diplomatic pens. From a Christian perspective, certain biblical passages describe not just land disputes, but a broader struggle of light against darkness. The book of Daniel, for example, depicts angelic forces contending with spiritual princes of earthly kingdoms. Could it be that the continual friction over this region mirrors a supernatural standoff? Many believers point to verses in Ezekiel or Zechariah that mention a final confrontation centered on Jerusalem. Some interpret modern events as stepping stones toward these prophetic scenarios: the return of Jewish people to their historical homeland, the intensifying arguments over Jerusalem, and the increasing hostility that flares whenever peace talks resume. It's as though an invisible hand keeps pushing the crisis to the forefront of global consciousness. But does that mean peace is impossible? Not necessarily. Scripture also speaks of redemption, reconciliation, and a gathering of all nations under divine justice. Yet countless individuals are left to wonder how these promises play out when political tensions and even violence refuse to subside. We have to ask, if this truly is a spiritual battle, how can ordinary people on both sides work toward something more hopeful? One of the most compelling messages rooted in biblical teaching is the call to love one's neighbor, even one's enemy, and to pursue reconciliation. Despite the towering walls of suspicion and sorrow, we see glimmers of unity in grassroots movements, interfaith dialogues, and unexpected friendships across the divide. Individuals from different backgrounds sometimes meet under shared values of compassion or faith, striving to understand each other's narratives. Groups that blend worship and humanitarian aid shine light into communities scarred by conflict. These small acts echo the gospel theme of bridging separation, revealing that while the conflict is vast, hope can spark wherever hearts open to grace. Before proceeding to our final insights, we want to invite you on a journey of deeper discovery. By subscribing to this channel and leaving a comment, you become part of an online community that cares about truth, faith, and practical paths of peace. If you appreciate the content, your support through likes, shares, or even a special donation helps us produce more resources on biblical perspectives and spiritual insights. And now, with so much history behind us and uncertainty ahead, we come to a crucial question. Can centuries of contention truly be redeemed? The Israel-Palestine conflict is multifaceted. Ancient covenants, disputed borders, global alliances, and deep-seated grievances all combine into a saga spanning thousands of years. Look at it purely through a historical or political lens, and you'll see a seemingly unbreakable cycle. But when we factor in the spiritual dimension, one that places biblical prophecy, cosmic battles, and divine promises into the mix, we begin to sense that there is a purpose far greater than the ambitions of any single group. For people of faith, the conflict points to a God who remains sovereign, working in ways humans cannot fully grasp. Hope emerges from the biblical call to reconciliation, to break the chains of animosity through love, compassion, and the shared recognition that every life holds immeasurable value. Though headlines often paint a bleak picture, rays of understanding can pierce the darkness whenever we acknowledge each other's stories and dare to believe in transformation. Ultimately, whether you view these hostilities as evidence of prophecy unfolding or simply as a tragic reality of clashing nations, one thing stands clear: hearts matter. And if hearts can be changed, if love can stand where resentment once raged, then perhaps even the oldest of rivalries can find a pathway to peace. Let's hold on to that possibility, continuing to learn, pray, and extend grace. When divine promises and human compassion unite, mountains can move, and maybe, just maybe, centuries of conflict can yield to a new dawn of hope.